Again, good afternoon, everyone. How are we doing? Good. Thank you guys for having me. My name is Dr. Royce Avery. I'm the school superintendent of Manor ISD.
It's right there.
And what I would like to do this evening is to give you a quick rundown on the 2019 proposed school bond. One of the things that has happened over the last couple of years, this is my fourth year as school superintendent in Manor ISD. And we have been through a whole lot of changes throughout the system in Manor ISD. And as you know, one of the biggest impacts is the economic growth, the number of students, and the proposed growth throughout the school district. And so one of the things that is so important for us as a school district is to kind of project and look into future years as to what we need to do for facilities, for safety measures, for just really trying to get ready for that academic growth in our district. We are looking to have about 200, right at 3,000 students over the next couple of years in our district. And so when you look at that 5-year growth pattern within the district, we have to make sure that we kind of get ready for that. And so one of the things that's happened is that the Board of Trustees have decided to get a group of citizens together to kind of look at, when we first started looking at the opportunities of going out for a bond, they were able to kind of bring nominations to the board regarding a citizens committee to look at what things are needed as we move forward in Manor ISD. Again, when you start looking at the housing, boom in Manor, trying to really kind of understand, the economic growth. One of the things that schools have the ability to be able to do is to go out to the community to ask for additional funds. And so what has happened, on the November ballot, there is going to be a bond election for Manor ISD. And that bond is going to be $280 million. We're going to seek for the community of Manor ISD to support that bond. One of the things that's very, very important about this particular bond is that there will be no anticipated tax rate increase. And that's very important to communities. As most of you know, most of the time when you have a bond election, it has an impact on taxes as well. But with this particular one, there will be no anticipated tax rate impact. So again, when you start looking at that, the bond election is going to be a 5-year plan. Most of them is like a 1 or 2 year plan, but what we've done in this district is that we're trying to anticipate the growth over the next 5 years. So that gives the district an opportunity to kind of strategize and plan for the next 5 years if this bond was to be approved in November. So what I would like to do, if you don't have in front of you, in the back of the room there's a flyer both in English and Spanish that talks a little bit about some of those proposed bond items. We broke the bond down into 4 different categories. The first category is growth. As we look at the growth of the district and trying to make sure that we have building facilities and opportunities for us to grow the district, we're looking at using about $186 million of that bond for future growth. That's talking about elementary schools, middle schools, high schools. One of the things I heard one of the community members talk about is a performing arts center. We feel that because we're right at the edge of Austin, if we are able to have a performing arts center, we could do some things with community and bringing artists to our community for concerts and things like that. Those are very important pieces that we can add to that economic growth. The other portion of the bond is technology and security. One of the things that's so very important in school districts these days is that security, making sure that our children are safe and making sure that we have the necessary technology to be able to perform the necessary academic opportunities that kids will need to have using technology. So those are very, very important pieces as we look at technology. The other aspect of it is the safety side of it. One of the things that the district is proposing is to create our own police department. Very important for us as we start looking at the cost of outsourcing police services in our district. Currently, we spend almost $1 million in outsourcing that out. If we brought that in-house, it would be around about that same amount of money, but we're able to provide and do security the way we choose to do it, and supporting more campuses and just in case, not just a few campuses. So that's very important to us as we grow. The third area is transportation. As you know, when you start looking at almost a 90-mile radius of this district, we have to transport our kids to and from. We have a lot of dangerous pathways across the district, and so most kids will have to catch the bus to school. And so, buying additional buses and white fleets are very important for us to be able to do. We are currently in the need of having a transportation center. That is a full-fledged transportation center with wash bays, mechanical bays, fueling stations, and one major component of transportation will take on a lot of that. As we grow the next 5 years, we're going to have to add 10 to 20 buses per year as we grow the number of students in the district as well. And the final aspect of the bond is about $53 million, and that's assessment-based. That is just your basic repairs to older facilities. That's roof repairs, that's AC replacements, plumbing replacement, just a variety of different things that will help sustain and continue, fulfilling the obligations to the district and making sure that we have, everything in place to be able to do what we need to do to continue the district's growth and it's taking care of the main things on a day-to-day basis. So again, we talk about $280 million. That's a lot of money. We do understand that. And I think one of the things that has to happen is making sure that we have the transparency to the community about what we're doing and how we're doing it. And so what I'm going to do now is I would love to answer any questions that anyone may have. And again, we're talking about $280 million. Well, one area is growth, $186 million. The other area is technology and security, about $17 million. Transportation is about $22 million. And then assessment-based projects, about $53 million. So any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, you say no tax rate increase. Is that based on projection of increased number of rooftops that will be contributing to the taxes?
If you don't mind me helping with that, Dr. Avery said a really important word there. No expected tax rate increase. So the rate at which your house is taxed isn't expected to go up as a result of this bond. So, but basically you're asking, where does that extra money come from? And indeed, new houses, earlier the candidates were talking about potential new businesses, things coming in help fund bonds, which is why bond is a popular means of funding future projects, because growth helps pay for that bond in the long run. I'm Scott Thomas, communications. Not just some guy who likes to talk about bonds.
As a communication guy, would you use the mic for the video?
Yes.
Okay. What about increased property value? I think that's the piece that you said at the Chamber of Commerce that kind of came clear.
Yeah. So exactly. So because we want to be totally transparent about this, if how taxes work, at least here in Texas, is it's often tied to your property value. So if your property value goes up, what's most likely to happen is the total amount paid on that tax bill is going to go up. Now, what I can say is that that increase isn't expected to be a result of the bond. But live in Central Texas, people want to move here, our home values are going up for better and for worse.
Yeah, and I think that's a great question, because most school bonds, your taxes will increase. But based on what we've done over the last 4 or 5 years in Manor ISD, we've been able to pay down our debt. So based on paying down the debt over the last 4 years in the district, that has given us more ability to borrow more money without a tax impact. So one of the things that we do is we work with our financial advisor, and he is the one to be able to give us the amount. So if we went over $280 million, your taxes will go up. So we look at exactly how much we can, look to be able to raise, to go out for a bond in order to use those dollars for the operation of the district. And so the maximum that we could go without any impact is that $280 million. And that's a very important piece, because One of the things that has happened in this district is over the last 10 years, we've worked very, very hard. And one of the things that we do, like with Samsung, we're under a 313 agreement with them to give them an opportunity to get tax rebates because of their multi-million, billion-dollar company that spends money. So we're able to kind of work with them to be able to do those type of incentives to help out. And not all businesses have the ability to do that, but Samsung is one of the areas businesses in Central Texas that will be able to do that 313 agreement financially.
But they help you in other ways.
Absolutely, and a lot of, we get over $200,000 a year just for my goals and incentives for students to do and teachers to do great things, and so that's just an extra, additional, opportunity for them to do. So does Samsung. So does Applied Materials. They also provide additional opportunities for, and that's just a good partnership. And that's one of the things that we do in the district is that we reach out. We have over 250 partners in the community that comes to the district and supports us in all different ways, be it monetarily, be it volunteering in the district, just coming out to stand in behind the district and means that it's just so valuable and so important to the school district. So great question. Any other question? Yes, sir.
Are there any outstanding unpaid bonds right now, or any bond money out there that's not been utilized yet?
As you may know, the district passed an $85 million bond in 2016. We are in the process of finalizing the last project for that $86 million bond, and that's the new tech athletic facility that's going up currently right now. And it's projected to be completed in January. And we have about $200,000 in contingency that's left over from that bond. Now, there are also previous year's bonds that are on the 30-year fixed bond proposal. So most of those are still underway. I don't have the exact number, but there are some existing debt that we are looking at doing. But what will happen is by the time these bonds are fully expanded, a lot of those will be over the next 2 or 3 years. We will end up paying off because we get interest in that money, and that interest goes back and pays out the debt. And that's how we will, that's how our financial advisor will work towards getting those things, positioned for us to be able to do that in a very effective financial way. So, great question.
So you said you're expecting 3,000 new students in the next couple of years. How many do we have right now?
We are right at 9,500 students in the
When
district.
I moved here 2 or 3 years ago, we had 4,000 or 5,000.
Right, about when I got into the district, it was closer to, I think it was 7,000.
Yeah, I'd say 7.
When I got here 4 years ago, so it's growing. It's not growing as fast as we would like it for it to grow. It's because the Meyer first thought we were going to be growing more than what we are. So we've kind of not have grown the way we should have grown. But that's one of those prediction things that you never know, because next year could be a enrollment boom, and we still we still should be ready for it with our current status right now. But we won't be in 2 or 3 years if it kind of kicks off.
But we grew a lot.
Absolutely.
And we paid down debt, and we went from a D rating to a B rating. How
Absolutely.
did you do that?
I think one of the things is that for a lot of you that know me, I've tried to be very impactful to this community and doing great things for kids. And I think for me as a school superintendent, that's the number one priority of what I do. And for whatever anybody else has said about what I've done, it's totally incorrect. Because I'm very, very proud about, being the superintendent of Manor ISD, and I will continue being the proud superintendent of Manor ISD as long as I'm allowed to do that. And that's very important to me and my family. I think we've shown that we're committed to this community. We've moved to this community. We're going to fight the fight. I think it's important. Kids need stability. I think it's important for us to be able to provide that stability for the children of Manor ISD, for the community in general. Because the whole Central Texas is watching Manor ISD and watching what we're going to do with the talent that we have. We have amazing students, amazing staff, amazing administrators, and I think it's so important for us to be able to, capitalize on that work through the things that we need to work through. That's important. That's what any good organization will do, is to work through all of that and come together for the benefit of making sure that we keep moving. We've come a long way. When I took over this district 4 years ago, we were in the D-F range. And to get where we are these days, and having that B rating, it's amazing. We were about a $10 million deficit, financially, guys.
Yeah.
This past June, we had a balanced budget. So that's huge. And so we got to make sure that we, as a community, come together. I know we have an opportunity to have a new mayor coming up. I know my board and myself are very excited about, bridging those opportunities to do more things together. Because when I said when I first got here 4 years ago, it takes a community. The school is the community, and the community is the school. And if you don't think that way, we're never going to progress as a small community. And yes, Manor is changing, and we're all embracing for that. My job as school superintendent is to help the city do that. And I'm willing and able to be able to do that. Very excited. I'm very active with the chamber. I think we've done a great partnership with what we do, making sure we showcase our kids at all the different performances, activities that we have. So it's so important that we continue the work that we have, and we have a lot of opportunities for the community to take part in the utilization of our facilities and showcase the things that we need to showcase in Manor, because I think the community is proud. I think we finally got to a point where we're not in the newspaper all the time about these negative things about what's going on in Manor, right? So that's so important to be able to do. And so again, thank you for that. It's very important. Academically, we have again, like I said, amazing students and staff that's done amazing things, and so we're going to continue that.
I didn't really have a question, just more of a comment, I guess. Living in Austin the last 12 years, I guess I said, I realized what Austin was, but I'm from Lufkin. I don't know if you heard that part. And so, I missed the small town thing. So my fiance and I moved to a small town to raise our children. And we're not alone on that. So many people I know from Austin have moved out here just because they're tired of, the craziness that goes on there. They want to raise their kids in a good schooling system, and it seems like you have that under control, and I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Hi, my name is Monique Sullivan, and I'm the vice president of the Manor ISD School Board. I just want to say this bond that we're going to be having, we really need it, guys. The community has been great in supporting the school district, and I am really proud of the person that we have at the forehead of all of that. And Dr. Avery, I'd like to commend you for all of your work that you've done in our community. Sam, I think, is here as well. He's a board member as well. And I think Ms. Cortez was here somewhere. But again, we've done great things. We're going to continue to do great things. Dr. Avery has a great team underneath him, and we will bridge those gaps, like he said, with the new mayor, whoever that might be, and with our city, because it's very important. And the growth starts at home. The growth starts at home before we can go out and do anything else. It starts at home, it starts with the kids, it starts with our community.
Thank you.
I also don't have a question, just a comment. You said all of Texas is watching. It's not just all of Texas. I have several family members that are teachers in the greater Chicagoland area who actually have said Manor STEM Academy is #1 in the nation. That we lead together. And I just think that from a number of teachers, very impressed with it.
But thank you for that. I think it's testament of the commitment that the district has had about new tech and STEM and really trying to make sure that we're cutting the edge in what we do. So very proud of that. Since 2007, they've done a great job. And 3 years ago, when we started, 3 academic pathways, IB, New Tech, and Fine Arts. And it was just, who knew it was going to take off the way it did? So, but it's just such a great, opportunity. I've been, have the privilege of presenting across the state and nationally, and people say that all the time. It's like, hey, what are you doing? We want to come see you. We've had people from across the nation coming to see our schools, taking a peek inside because it's such a unique opportunity. So, but thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Um, 15 or 16 students in the dual credit program that actually graduated high school with an associate's degree. Where is that program now?
She's referring to the early college high school program. One of the things in this bond is to create an early college high school standalone campus. And so one of the things that has happened, that program has tripled over the last 2 years. We started out with about 25 students in the class. The freshman class is
over 100 in the freshman.
107 in the freshman class, but over 400 in the whole entire, so it's its own little campus now, and so we're looking to provide that opportunity to have that standalone. And it's a great opportunity where high school graduates will be able to leave the district with an associate's degree in addition to a high school diploma as well, because as most of you know, economic development and high school diploma is just a high school diploma. Most schools, and not all schools in Texas have the opportunity to do early college. And so we were one of the unique ones across the district to say we are an early college high school, campus within our district. So it gives them such an advantage. And so we're very excited about that and what's to come as well in the future.
Can you highlight the difference between anybody that may be thinking and saying, hey, we just did this change with Lagos Elementary, moving around on the elementary side, you want to start building some more schools. What is the need? What is the issue? What is the constraint that there's this push for money for more schools?
Well, I think one of the biggest thing is that no one really understands and knows when growth is going to hit. So again, this is a 5-year perspective. So we don't have to sell bonds all in the first year if we choose not to. So we're looking at being able to, because it takes about 2 years, 2.5 years to build a campus. So as we look at 2 or 3 years from now, we have to project on when those campuses need to be built. Or do we need to have additional classrooms added to the existing buildings as well, which is a little bit less time constraints than the actual building of them. So what we're doing is we have a timeline of when those things are going to happen. So what needs to go first and how that needs to be done. So next year, if we gain 1,000 students, and if we project 1,000 every single year, we're going to have to do a little hurry up to get things built. So it's just a matter of timing it all out, being able to have a good understanding of how it's going to be laid out, and that's part of what we'll do. In-house is being able to timeline it out. And be able to kind of go out as needed. So again, it's just important to be able to at least have the ability to be able to go out to do that instead of not having the ability to do that, because you do have to have it has to be in a routine election to be able to do it. So and the timing is now in November. So fair question. Got time for one more question. What do you think? Anybody?
Where are all the fine art campuses?
Where are all the fine arts campuses? We have Oak Meadows Elementary School, Decker Elementary School, Decker Middle School, that feeds into, those are feeder pattern schools. They're all fine arts academies, Fine Arts Academy Elementary, Middle School, that feeds into the traditional 910 campus at Manor High School. And so that's that fine arts feeder pattern. The other feeder patterns are New Tech feeder patterns. That's Lagos, Lake Manor, Shallow Glen, and PCE. And that feeds into New Tech Middle School, that feeds into New Tech High School. And remember, we have 2 high schools now. 2 years ago, we only had 1 high school. So now New Tech High School is its own 3A classification high school. And they have schools that feed into that New Tech feeder pattern, as well as the New Tech I mean, the Fine Arts Academy feeds into the traditional high school, and then we have the IB campuses, which is Blue Bonnet Trails, Presidential Meadows, help me out.
Blue Bonnet Trails Presidential.
And Manor Middle School will also be a New Tech middle school, an IB middle school that will feed into the traditional high school as well. Because what we're looking at, if once we grow the IB program at the elementary middle school level, that is a full high school program where kids can get an IB degree, it's not the same as an associate's degree, but it's awarded as a very prestige high school diploma and as an IB degree as well. So again, that's the little feeder pattern, and then our families have the choice to go to those schools if they choose to go to those schools. So it works out really well.
And all the bond information is available at manorisd.net/bond2019. There's also a link at the top of the webpage for easy access.
Well, thank you all for coming again. Thank you, Dr. Avery. Some refreshments out there. Thank you very much.